Good day everyone, I am Limuel Tabianosa. So today I am going to discuss to you the Republic Act number 10591, Article 6, Section 42 to 47. So introduction. Republic Act 10591, otherwise known as Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. It was approved on May 29, 2013 by President Benigno Aquino III. So the purpose of this act is to account and register firearms in accordance with the requirements of state laws and regulations, to maintain peace and order, and to protect the people against the violence. So the state also recognizes the right of its qualified citizens to self-defense through the use of firearms, only when it is the reasonable means to repel the unlawful aggression under the circumstances. So let's move to my topic, which is the Article 6, the final provisions. So this is under the final provisions is Section 42, the Firearms Repository. The FEO of the PNP shall be the sole repository of all firearms records, to include imported and locally manufactured firearms and ammunition. So the PNP, or the FEO of the PNP, the Firearms and Explosive Office, is the only administrations that holds the records of all the firearms in our country. So next is the Section 43, the final amnesty. Persons in possession of unregistered firearms and holders of expired license or unregistered firearms shall register and renew the same through the final general amnesty within 6 months from the declaration of the implementing rules and regulations of this act. So our persons or individuals that owned and registered firearms and hold expired license will have a privilege to register their firearms and renew their licenses without being charged of any amount after the declaration of this act within six months after the declaration. So next is the Section 44, implementing rules and regulations. Within 120 days from the effectivity of this act, the Chief of the PNP, after the public hearings and consultation with concerned sectors of society, shall formulate the necessary rules and regulations for the effective implementation of this act, to be published in at least 2 national newspapers of general circulations. So the PNP, or Chief of the PNP, will include this act to rules and regulations for it to be acknowledged and published to different newspapers nationwide. So Section 45, repealing clause. This act repeals Section 125 and 7 of Presidential Decree number 1866 as amended, and Section 6 Republic Act number 8294, and all other laws, executive orders, letters of instruction, issuances, circulars, administrative orders, and regulations that are inconsistent herewith. So next is Section 46, Separability Clause. If any provisions of this act or any part hereof is held invalid or unconstitutional, the remainder of the law or the provisions not otherwise affected shall remain valid and subsisting. Section 47, Effectivity. This act shall take effect after 15 days from its publication in a newspaper of nationwide circulation. So now let's move to my SWOT analysis. Okay, so my strength is conducting regular inventories to the department or agencies that own firearms. So I include this as my strength because, as mentioned in section 42, the firearms repository, the PNP shall be the only one to hold the records of firearms in our country, all firearms in the country. So if they conduct regular inventories to departments and agencies that own firearms, it will lessen the records of missing firearms in our country. For example is, or it will help to our PNP to reduce the missing firearms that may go to criminals, that they can be used to commit a crime. So conducting regular inventories to the department of or agencies that own firearms. So including the act or rules and regulations, it will help the act to be acknowledged and to be published to national newspapers. So I include that as my strength because as mentioned in section 44, the act won't be published. The act won't be published if it isn't acknowledged by the citizens of a country. So next is weakness. The effectivity of this act is, I think I would consider as a weakness because it won't effective unless it won't publish to national newspapers. So I include my weakness is the effectivity of the Republic Act 10591. I will consider also as weakness is the law itself because, as mentioned in section 46, which is the separability clause, that it can be held invalid or unconstitutional. So my opportunity. So it is an opportunity for those personnel in possession of unregistered firearms and holders of expired licenses because they won't be charged for any amount if they register and renew their licenses in the given interval time of 6 months after the declaration of the act. And through the implementation of this act, each individual will have an opportunity to learn the law of our country. So if this act is implemented, of course the individuals will have the opportunity to know what is the law of our country. Threat. Individuals that committed a crime but didn't identify as an offender can mitigate their case if they used unregistered firearms and expired licenses because of the opportunity that they won't be charged for applying, as mentioned in section 43. For example is, there is an offender and he is not identified or unknown offender. So if he or she commit a crime and this act was published, so he or she has an opportunity to register his firearms that used to commit a crime. It will considered as a threat is the individual that won't seriously believe the law. We know that people in our country believe that justice is for the rich people only, not for the poor. So next is conclusion. Article 6, Section 42 to 47 provides the privilege to an individuals to register firearms and acquired licenses and monitor the firearms and ammunition in our country. The article serves as the action or equipping the act to our rules and regulations and to acknowledge nationwide. Next is my recommendation. I recommend to have some changes to the effectivity of the act. The purpose of the act is to maintain peace and order. So why would the act shall take effect after 15 days once it was published? Diba? So if it was published, that's why it must be effective already. That we don't need to have 15 days effectivity. So this is reference, and thank you for listening.